Do it now, Jerry, times 5. I'm Mike Fisher, your trusty and trust reporter. This is the Fishbowl. That is the Star. We'll be inside the Star here in a little bit, and we invite you to come with us via the Fish Report here and at cowboyscountry.com. We're also on TikTok at Fish Sports Cowboys. This isn't keeping up with the Joneses. It's the other way around. It's the Joneses needing to keep up. And I'm going to say this preemptively. Some of this is not a brand spanking new concept or conversation. And I fully recognize that even though there's 75,000 fish heads here in Cowboy Nation who join me in believing in what I'm about to say, and millions of other Cowboy fans too, who, by the way, they ought to be here as well. Thank you for hitting the like button and being here. Thank you for subscribing to what we do here. It's free and worth every penny. Do it now. Keep up with, not the Joneses. Joneses keep up with the Eagles. Keep up with the Commanders. And there's a way to do it. It's not an easy way, but it's a clear way. In terms of void year spending, Blogging the Boys touched on this, so is Lando at cowboyscountry.com. And in terms of high salary players on your roster. And we've gone through the Eagles roster before and go, and then we end up going, but how do they have an expensive quarterback, expensive running back, expensive receiver, another expensive receiver, an expensive offensive lineman, another expensive offensive lineman, and on and on and on and on. And they win bigger than you do. VJ, Uncle Fish Premium, we all spend the same amount of money. Under the cap in a year, that's true. But hold on to your jockstrap, VJ. The Eagles lead the NFL with a staggering $450 million in void year allocations. They have pushed out $450 million. You don't do that. Not anymore. So the salary cap, whatever, salary cap next year is going to be $302 million. And virtually every team will spend virtually to the cap. But the smart teams are pushing money beyond the cap, are spending money beyond the cap by pushing it into future years. MP, I don't want to completely mortgage the future. And that's Stephen. Are you Stephen Jones? Is this a Stephen Jones burner account? Because that's what Stephen thinks. And it's logical, except it's been proven wrong. Your philosophy and Stephen's philosophy is proven wrong now every year for 12 years or so since it kind of got instituted post Brandon Carr. Meanwhile, the Eagles in the last 8 years have gone to 3 Super Bowls and won 2 of them. You got to pay the piper. You'll mortgage the future. You'll run out of money. But why don't the Eagles run out? It's funny, and Alan Wright says, find a balance. Again, that sounds reasonable. There's a plaque that sits on Jerry's desk. It's been there forever. It's 2 vultures and then some cattle down in the field, down below the cliff. And one of the vultures turns to the other one and says, bleep patience, I'm going to go kill something. Why do you need balance? The Eagles don't need balance. The Rams don't need balance. The 49ers think they're going to win the division again. The Bills aren't balanced. The Chiefs aren't balanced. The Ravens aren't balanced. Those are all the good teams. And they're perennially good. Why? I'm going to say it again. $450 million is what the Eagles have said. Just put it in the future. Justin Williams, Uncle Fish, catching you live. Hello from Germany. Hello and thank you. What time is it in Germany? Well, how many? Surely the Cowboys have some future year void, and they do. We know all about the Dak Prescott void years. And then CeeDee Lamb has them too. By the way, the void years, the Cowboys know it's not the devil. They helped invent it. So the Cowboys have their void years. Good morning, sugar. And it's mostly Dak and CeeDee Lamb. Eats up most of it. How much? I just told you the Eagles' future void years, $450 million. Cowboys' future void years, $44 million. Wonk, wonk. Meaning the Cowboys cap-wise are looking good. Cap-wise, going forward. But they're not looking as good as the Eagles, football-wise. Kramer Maho checking in from the Big Island. Good morning, Uncle Fish. It's early here in Hawaii. Travis, hello from Slovakia. What? Hawaii, Germany, and Slovakia. Anybody else from around the planet? Jonathan Trotta checking in from England. There's four people from around the world. Alan Wright's checking in from Idaho. It's pretty out there. The Eagles have said, we're going to credit card this thing to the tune of $450 million. The Cowboys have said, we're going to credit card this thing 1/10 of that. Brian Cusack checking in from as north as you can get in Canada. Dan Patterson checking in from Mississippi. It's not a third world country, Dan. Starlight checks in from Montana. Michael Lavelle, we call him Mike, checks in from Cali, where I'll be here in about 6 weeks. The Eagles' strategy has allowed them to build and maintain the best roster in football. The Cowboys rank 16th in future void money. And most of that's Dak and Lamb. Now, we've pointed out something else. I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to rattle through the names. It'll just give you a Cowboy headache. How many big money players are on the Eagles roster? How many, quote, expensive players? 10. You have 10 guys making at least $10 million. How many do the Cowboys have? 5. Now, Jonathan Trotter asks a provocative and accurate question. If you spend more, does that mean you win more? Not automatically, because you have to make the right decisions. The Eagles made the right decision on A.J. Brown. They made the right decision on Saquon Barkley. They got Zach Bond cheap. Now they pay him. They drafted Hurts cheap. Now they pay him. You got to make good decisions along the way. It's not automatic, but it helps. Steve's right. Miami has spent and has not won big. It's not automatic. And it's not necessarily about cheap. Not necessarily. It's about, as I've said many times, the tools in the toolbox and a refusal to use them. There's a strategy to this, and they know it. The Cowboys know the strategy. They're not dumb. They're just choosing not to use all the tools. I got a hammer. I got a chisel. I got a screwdriver. I got a wrench. And I got a pliers. Who needs the hammer? We'll just pound in nails with the screwdriver. Meanwhile, the Eagles are pounding the nails with a sledgehammer. Part of why it's working there is they are recognizing that, yes, 450 million in void years, but once we get there, X years from now, the salary cap's going to be 400 million, and they'll absorb it. And they already have. That's not me guessing. That's not me projecting. It's already what they do. It's a good question about presenting this to Jerry. And my answer is twofold. One, again, they know. It has been presented to Jerry, and he says things like, Mr. Mike, we want to see those leaves fall. Well, I'm going to fix leaves fall in a minute. And then number two, I'm not pretending 75,000 of us, millions of us, and me, I'm not pretending they're going to listen to us. I'm just saying, Steve, we've asked these questions. I ask these questions all the time. For 12 years, I've asked these questions when the Cowboys started changing. Has there been a slight changing of the guard? Some people think the George Pickens trade represents that. The George Pickens trade represents aggressiveness and risk-taking for the player. There's no financial risk here. It's a financial bargain. So it's not a change in that area. So here's my proposal as I shake my fist at the clouds. Trevor Hayes, Jerry likes to have the highest paid players for the attention. Simple. Well, then why does he only have 5 of them? And the Eagles have 10, Trevor? Howie Roseman must really like having the highest paid players since he's got 10 of them. Twice as many as you have. So here's my proposal that nobody will listen to. And keeping in mind, of course, it takes 2 to tango. 5 of them. Today, Mark Sawyer. Jerry was the one who started all this big spending, which is true. Talking about 30 years ago. What changed? I say that Stephen, some people say that the next generation of Jones is just saying, why are we spending all this money? Some people think that. I haven't gone there. I do think that Stephen believes that there's value in always being pretty good because you're always right there for the brass ring. And what I'm saying about that philosophy, it's not automatically wrong. It's just been proven wrong for 12 years. While the Eagles have done it a different way, and the Rams have done it a different way, and the 49ers, and the Ravens, and the Bills, and the Chiefs. The other teams aren't worrying about staying good all the time. The other teams seem to be worrying about staying great. So here's what I say. And I know this sounds, I mean, this is going to sound outlandish, but I mean it. Recognizing again, the other guy's got to say yes. Micah, today. Tyler Smith, today. Deron Bland, today. George Pickens, today. Butter Aubrey, today. Call them today. Call them in together and say, fellas, here's what we're going to do. The Eagles have 10 highest paid guys. We have 5. We're going to have 10. And it's going to be you. You. That's 5. And we're doing it today. And we're going right down the road. We know that eventually, with you 5, we're going to pay you. Shogun, you're correct. The Dak deal does not handicap you from doing this. They have $32 million worth of cap room right now. Now, I haven't done the math on how that all, we know that Micah, and now you have $42 million of the cap room. We know that you got another rookie to sign. We know that you like to have your pool. So this is more philosophical than it is factual in terms of how much cap room you have to do all of this. Philosophically, Micah, we're paying you 40. If we wait much longer, it's become 42. Let's do 40. Let's do it today. Now I got $42 million of the cap room. Tyler Smith, we're already locked into paying you 21 a year from now, right? Let's get it done. Let's pay you 21 times 4. Let's go. DaRon Bland, we want you. Now here's the thing. There is some breaking point here. There is some tipping point. There is only so much cap room. So DaRon Bland, man, if you think someday you're going to go make 30 million, that we can't do that today. We might end up doing it later, but we can do 20. Let's do it today. George Pickens, tough one. And again, I'm not saying that realistically they all fit, philosophically. George, we love what we've seen. You love it here. You've said that you don't want to do an extension now because you want to bet on yourself going forward. Or let's do it now, philosophically. Micah, we're going to do what Myles Garrett did in Cleveland. Tyler, we're going to do who's the guard in, I think it's the guard in Falcons. We're going to do that. That's 40 and 20. DaRon Bland, we're going to do just like we did with Diggs, 20. Pickens, we're going to do it like T. Higgins. We're going to do it like they did in Cincinnati, 28. And Brandon Aubrey, we're going to make you the highest paid kicker, $6 million. Boom, 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 boom. And you don't do this just because of the anxiety of the Cowboys fan base that wishes these things would get done. That'd be nice, but that's not why you do it. You do it because you get these players more affordably now than you will get them a year from now, when you almost inevitably do these 5 or try to, let alone a month from now when it'll be more expensive. Jerry, you don't need to see more leaves fall on Micah. You don't need to see more leaves fall on Tyler. You don't need to see more leaves fall on Bland. You don't need to see more leaves fall on Aubrey. You want to wait on Pickens? I get it. And again, logistically, I don't think you could really do that. But as a philosophy, now. Build it now. And you will have locked up, and you'll tell these 5 guys, you 5 guys and Lamb, you're the core. You're the foundation of it all. For the next half a decade, it's you guys. We want to pay you that way. Let's do it now. And look each other in the eye. We're not going to do 45, 35, 30. We're not going to do that. We're going to do 40, 20, 20, 28, 6. Let's do it together. Except for watching the leaves fall to make sure that the guy's the right guy. That's the only reason to wait. And that gives you cause for pause on Pickens. You don't know him yet. But you know Micah. You know Bland. You know Tyler. And you know Aubrey. There's nothing to wait for. And the only penalty in doing this is you're going to have void years like everybody else does. The reward is you are going to solidify your roster now, and you're going to do it cheaper than it will be when you inevitably wait. Brian E., if you wait too long on GP3, you might be paying him more than CD. Therefore, go to him now and say, we want to do Chase Higgins with you two guys. And give it a shot, philosophically. The Cowboys have done some really good things in assembling some really good teams in the last 12 years. You don't go 12-5 times 3 without having done some good things. By the way, we're going to do this tonight on the creativity thing. Cowboys are suddenly creative on offense. Just say this sidebar and tease for tonight. CeeDee Lamb's made 4 straight Pro Bowls. Dak Prescott won second in MVP voting. Ezekiel Elliott won 2 rushing titles. This team went 12-5 3 straight years. There's things they've done well here that aren't going to be magically solved or made better because there's more motion in the offense. So some of the foundational things they've done here are good. They have built competitive rosters using superstar retention. They sign their own, eventually. Cheap labor and comp picks. That's how they've done it. Thus missing out on, and George Pickens counts as cheap labor, missing out on that other tool in the toolbox. It's worked to a degree. They find value, they stay under, quote, budget. But there's now a ceiling. We've seen it. There's a ceiling to that because other teams are doing those same 3 things. Other teams are doing that. The Eagles do that. Sign their own, comp picks, cheap labor, but then they do the other thing. And that's why they're better than you. The Cowboys win regular season games using this philosophy and nothing more. You can't build a Super Bowl roster on rookie deals. Nobody drafts that well. Nobody. At some point, you pay the homegrown stars. If you're smarter, you pay them faster, and then you supplement them with more stars. And you put it on the credit card, like the big boys do. Comp picks are nice. 5th-round picks who make the team are nice. They help you win in September. They haven't been proven in Dallas to help you win in February. This is an evolving league. Keep pace or die, or keep pace or finish 3rd in the NFC East. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 young stud Cowboys are going to get paid. Jerry, do it now. Fish out.